In 1974, Pakistan's National Assembly declared that Ahmadis were not Muslims.
In 1974, Bhutto committed the mistake of interfering with a religious process for which he was not politically entitled. You see?
Yeah.
And that opened the Pandora's box. After that, nobody could be able to close it.
Hadhrat Mirza Tahir Ahmad continued to serve the community with great zeal. From 1979 to 1982, he served as the president of Majlis Ansarullah. He also served as director of Fazl-e-Ummah Foundation and patron of the International Ahmadiyya Association of Architects and Engineers. His life took a dramatic turn in 1982. On the 8th of June that year, his brother and the head of the community, Hadhrat Mirza Tahir Ahmad, Khalifat-ul Massih III, passed away just before midnight.
वो रात बेपनाह थी और मैं गरीब था.
Nearly 100,000 members gathered at the headquarters in Rabwa. In accordance with the constitution of the community's electoral college, a meeting of the college was convened at the Mubarak Mosque in Rabwa to elect the new Khalifa. Under divine guidance, the electoral college elected Hadhrat Mirza Tahir Ahmad as the fourth Khalifa. Overwhelmed with emotion, he first took the oath and then the covenant of allegiance.
ताहिर के हाथ पर बैठ करके सिलसिला-ए अहमदिया में दाखिल होता हूँ.
Right from the outset of his Khilafat, he served the destitute and the weak. The very first project he launched was the construction of suitable houses for the needy people in Rabwa. A neighborhood in the city was established under this scheme. It was called Buyutul Hamd. Only 1.5 months after becoming Khalifa, Hadhrat Mirza Tahir Ahmad, Khalifat-ul Massih IV, travelled to Norway, Sweden, Denmark, Switzerland, Holland, Spain, the UK and Australia. He inaugurated the Basharat Mosque in Pedroabad, a town 25 kilometers outside Cordoba. This was the first mosque to be built in Spain in over 750 years.
सबसे पहले इस मौके पर मुझे एक याद सता रही है. उस वजूद की याद जो आज हम में नहीं, जो सबसे ज्यादा इस बात का हकदार था. आज ये जुमा पढ़ाता और आज इस तकरीब का आगाज करता कि वो बेकरार दुआएं जिनकी कबूलियत का फल हम आज खाने लगे.
He addressed several press conferences, wherein he provided erudite interpretation of Islamic teachings. The newly elected Khalifa was on a peaceful mission, a mission to serve humanity. But the political situation in Pakistan became worse than ever before.
The moment I was selected by Allah to lead the Jamaat, Zia did not like this perspective at all. The regime of Zia wanted some political philosophy to support their regime politically and to give them a reason, a justification for remaining in power. So what they said was, they said they are the custodians of Islam. As such, they have to serve certain purposes for the sake of Islam. And as long as those purposes are not served and achieved, they would remain in power. You know, as if they were commissioned by God to do that. So for this they had to align and implicate mullahs and to utilize and exploit them. And what was the purpose for which they were destined to play a very important role, you know? The purpose was to destroy the foremost enemy of Islam, that is Ahmadiyya community.
It was during Zia's time the persecution against the Ahmadiyya community peaked. Their shops were pillaged and set on fire, and mobs rioted outside their mosques. The discrimination practiced by the Bhutto government was stepped up.
तुम मुसीबतें हम पर इसलिए डाल रहे हो कि हम अपने खुदा से दूर हट जाएं, लेकिन हमारी आयत करदा मुसीबतें हमें और ज्यादा खुदा के करीब कर देती, हम अपने रब की तरफ और तेजी के साथ लौट जाते हैं।
Hazrat Khalifat-ul Massih IV urged restraint on his followers. Do not respond to these provocations. He denounced in sermon after sermon the injustices that Zia was inflicting. God would punish him if he continued in his evil ways. God's wrath would be terrible. Hazrat Khalifat-ul Massih warned him again and again, but the general paid no attention to the warnings and continued to plot schemes in order to destroy the community.
You know, when I suspected that something is cooking against Ahmadiyya between the Mullah and the then dictator of Pakistan, Zia-ul Haq, instead of running away, I went straight to Islamabad and camped there for 7 days.
He had many friends among the diplomatic community. Some he met at their offices, and some privately. From the meetings, he gathered something was going to happen, but no one seemed to know exactly what.
Until the Deputy Commissioner of Islamabad sent me a very urgent message. This Deputy Commissioner said, my earnest advice to you is, for God's sake, return immediately to Rabwa, or it will be too late.
Hazrat Khalifat-ul Massih IV immediately returned to Rabwa. On the 26th of April 1984, Ordinance 20 was introduced under martial law by General Zia-ul Haq. The ordinance was designed to prohibit Ahmadis from practicing their faith.
I immediately called a meeting of the elders, whoever were available at the time, to reach Rabwa immediately. I stated before them the facts, the consequences of this ordinance. I told them that according to this ordinance, if I remain in Pakistan and declare myself to be a Muslim, immediately they would arrest me and put me behind the bar. So how can I remain a Khalifa of Jamaatul Ahmadiyya, Khalifat-ul Massih, and operative at the same time?
The advice at the meeting was unanimous. Huzur should leave Pakistan immediately. At that time, Usman Chu, a missionary of the community who had no idea of what was being planned, saw a dream.
मैंने 27 अप्रैल 1986 की सुबह का वक्त ख्वाब मैं ये देखा कि हुजूर इस्लामाबाद जाने वाले हैं और एक मिनी पास में जाएंगे जिसके इर्द गिर्द हुजूर के पहरेदार मौजूद हैं और जो सब के सब आसमानी रंग की यूनिफॉर्म पहनती हैं और इन पहरेदारों के इर्द गिर्द सरकारी पुलिस हैं। जब मैं इस पास के करीब आ गया, जब मैं इस पास के करीब गया तो मैंने हुजूर को नहीं दिखा और ये समझा कि हुजूर तो ऐब के तरीक इस्लामाबाद तशरीफ लिए गए हैं और पास के अंदर तो सिर्फ कुछ सामान मौजूद हैं। फिर मैंने उसी पास में हुजूर की अलविदा कहने के लिए बैठ गया और पहरेदारों के साथ सफ़र करने लगा। कुछ सफ़र करके उधर गया और पहरेदारों ने मुझे कुछ